Okay, this is a video about the kind of language that's crept into everyday use, which is feminized. And in particular, there's a one phrase that stuck out. I was just listening to something, an audio file, and the guy who was speaking. Otherwise, I was enjoying what he was saying, and then he said, "Let's talk about. We need to talk about." And this phrase is thrown around now, and it is the most feminized phrase, and I hate it. Because it's this roundabout, diplomatic way of saying, oh, let's sit down and discuss this thing that needs talking about, but we haven't been talking about. And I can't stand that nonsense. If you're going to speak about something, just speak about it. You know, it's this kind of, when people say let's talk about or we need to talk about, I envisage this room full of short-haired, feminized, when I say feminized, I mean masculinized women sitting there judging some guy who's been, caught thinking something or saying something he shouldn't have. And they're like, we need to talk about this. Let's talk about this. That's the picture that comes to mind for me. That's what I hear, and that's what I see when I hear that. Because there's no need for someone to be. It's someone being sat down. Yeah, it's someone sitting in the place of being judged and told, you've done something bad, we need to talk about this. And that is the kind of socialistic social worker kind of talk that I think is despicable. It really is. And yeah, I can't stand it. We need to talk about. No, we don't need to talk about. We're going to either talk about something or we don't. There is nothing that we needed to talk about that wasn't being talked about. So this kind of language is, I think, part of the problem that we have. And it's this kind of oppressive, communistic, socialistic kind of, big brother watching over you, remove your rights, you don't have the right to talk, you will be spoken to, you will do this, and you must please everyone kind of nonsense. We need to talk about. Society needs to... No. No. What we need is leadership. Okay? We need forthrightness. It doesn't come from people sitting and trying to manipulate other people. It comes from definition. It comes from authority based upon rational thinking and action. It doesn't come from people saying, we need to talk about this social topic that is a nothingness. Or even if it is something, just talk about it. This big, we need to talk about, implies that there's some punishment for someone on the way. No, it's ridiculous. So when this guy said this phrase during this audio file I was listening to, I was just like, oh, here we go again. Someone else who has heard that phrase too much and it's crept into their, I don't know what you call it, array of things that they say. And yeah, I can't stand that stuff. It's, I guess, it's not the same thing, but it's similar to when people are like, going forward, we have to blah blah. What? We have phrases that mean that. From here on out, or henceforth, that kind of thing. But the way it's said is to try and manipulate. Going forward, that kind of thing. And when people say that to me, I say, no, staying right where we are, and then I'll continue, because it's a way of trying to manipulate someone. and yeah, it's trying to force a conversation away from a topic. So no, I don't know. That's probably not the best example, but the first example is a very important one, and that is, this one of we need to talk about. No, we don't need to talk about. Either say it or don't. Don't make some big thing out of it. Anyway, that annoys me. I wonder if anyone else feels the same way.